Hey guys, Jared the Jester here, and welcome to my next How to Juggle video. In this video, we're going to go over one of the most dominant props in the average juggler's arsenal. I'm talking about clubs. So, in comparison to balls, clubs have one fundamental difference. When you throw them, they rotate. It's much different from ball, considering balls don't rotate. So when you give that throw, you have to anticipate catching it by the handle. Now, if you haven't already, I highly recommend you go back to my How to Juggle Balls video first before moving on to clubs. Let's get started. So in the same association as balls, starting with one object is always the easiest route. The arc and throw are generally the exact same thing as the previous instructional video. You want the smooth rotation, not a whole lot of wrist. Gravity does 90% of the work for you. All you need to do is make sure you catch that club evenly and accurately on both sides of your body. Once you've gotten familiar with this, we'll move on to two objects. Now, unlike the previous video, we're not going to start with just two clubs. We're going to introduce a ball first instead. If you familiarize yourself with three-ball juggling, then the throw will be very simple. Now, rewinding it just a moment, if you recall in the three-ball video, we went over something called throw, snap, catch, or throw, clap, catch. This is the exact same thing with clubs. If you don't think you can handle two objects yet, take it a step back, take it down even further, and go throw, clap, catch, throw, clap, catch, throw, clap, catch, throw, clap, catch, throw, clap, catch. Now I'm getting it right. There we go. Throw, clap, catch. Slow it down to as many steps as you need to until you get it right. But moving down to two objects, it's throw, throw, catch. Just like with any other object. And you're going to want to start with the hand that is holding the club. And you want to alternate. So in this case, it's going to be left, right. Left, right. The throws are essentially the same with balls. All you need to do is get used to the rotation of the club. Work on that for a little while, and we'll move on to three objects. Once again, before moving on to two clubs, we're going to do the same game with some new odds. We're going to use two balls and one club. If you've mastered the three-ball cascade, this shouldn't be a whole lot difficult for you. It should only be moderately difficult, so long as you stick with it. The object size, as you would assume, may make this pattern feel a little awkward at first. But the more you get used to the club toss, the ball tossing becomes second nature, and you focus more on the club than the actual balls. Keep working on that, go back to any steps you feel like you need to, and then we'll introduce the second club. Alright, we're going to slow it down a little bit with just two clubs. Just like with two balls, or one ball and one club, it is throw, catch, catch. Jump back to snapping and clapping if you need to, but the fundamental thing is going to be getting used to not one rotation on a club, but two. It's rotating over here and rotating over here. One thing I like to try and do when trying to toss a club in a different hand each, reminding myself that juggling is a two-handed sport, I like to extend my arms all the way out, most likely out of frame. And I just give one toss-up like that, and one toss-up like that. And I just repeat it until both my hands have an accurate throw and an equal spin. Once I've done that, I can move back to throw, throw, catch. This is the part of learning any kind of juggling technique where you're going to sit on this trick for a while until you feel like you're ready to widen the arc, open the pattern, and incorporate that third club, which we're going to do soon enough. But first, we're going to introduce a third object. So rather than just throw you into 3 clubs, we're going to wind it down a little bit one more time by doing 2 clubs and 1 ball. Once again, the pattern is going to feel really awkward because you have to try and get used to the different weight of the objects. Because now, whereas with 2 clubs and a ball, or 2 balls and a club, I mean, you're using 2 light objects and 1 heavier object. But now the tables have turned and you're using 2 heavier objects and 1 light object. What this does is it associates you better with the weight of the club. So you're used to catching that and tossing it back in the air while you prepare to catch a different one just like it, or even a lighter object if you decide to move on into multi-object juggling, which we might get into later. But first, we're going to move on to what you've probably been waiting for, the 3rd club. So here we are, 3 clubs. Just like with 3 balls, take it slow, take it easy, take your time. If you get frustrated, go back to previous steps, or just take a break. Stop doing it, or juggle balls for a little while. If you're better at that, always makes you feel better to do something you're good at rather than something you're bad at. But eventually, with enough practice and determination, you'll be throwing these as easy as you do balls. It's just as simple as 1, 2, 3, and then stop. Just like with balls. Take it slow and easy. Baby steps, baby throws, if you will. Until eventually, 4, 5, and it just goes and goes and goes. And soon enough, you'll be able to juggle 3 clubs. So well, you won't even be able to have to watch your pattern. I'm Gerald the Jester. That's how you juggle 3 clubs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. One way that I like to try and get used to rotating 2 clubs is I extend my arms out at full wingspan, and I extend and do 1. Now one thing I like to do when working on tossing clubs in a different hand each is I'll extend my hands all the way out like this, and I'll toss it up like that on both sides of my body.